Good evening. This is KR Levine. And once again, I want to share my story of my journey with God with you. 27 years ago, I went into the hospital to give birth to my son, Richard, and it was an adventure of a lifetime. I say that facetiously because it was a terrifying experience in that after giving birth, I got so sick and would not recover. Most mothers give birth, and in a few days, they're back on their feet, depending on what they had uh, encountered in the hospital, whether it's a C-section or uh, um, a regular birth. But mine was very complicated, and I don't really want to go too much into it, but it was the days after I gave birth that was the most terrifying because I kept passing out and I was not recovering. I was not recovering. I was not recovering my strength. My strength was not coming back to me. I kept I kept passing out time after time. I could not walk on my feet. I was very wobbly. I could not even walk 2 steps without passing out. So they tested me and tested me for everything and could not find what was wrong with me. The doctors were scratching, literally scratching their heads. But God intervened because I was always praying as I fell down so many times, and and as soon as I got up, my my, my hands were clasped and I was praying, asking God to heal my body because I needed to get back to my son. I couldn't imagine leaving my 3 children, Jennifer, Michael, and Richard. I couldn't imagine not being with them. And so I prayed to God. And I remember the nurse telling me, she said, "You really need to sleep. You haven't been sleeping for days." And I fell asleep that night. And that night, God gave me a vision that I wrote in my book, God's Vision by K.R. Levine. It's on the internet. You can find it. K.R. Levine, God's Vision. And in that vision, God showed me who He is. What a marvel he is. He shows us in images. Remember, he came to Moses in a pillar. And I asked myself several times, why did he show me who he was in this vision, in the images that he showed me. And he created this babble in me. I'm always talking and telling stories, and I like telling talking to people and sharing stories. We all should share our stories. And God knew that I was a perfect person to share what he showed me with. And he knew that I would make sure that everybody knew about it because he created me to be a babbler, somebody that likes to talk. Not always, sometimes I'm really quiet, but he knew that he had invested in the right person to share the story. So I'm asking you, if it is that you don't believe in him, that um, you pick up this book. K.R.Levine is on Amazon.com, Walmart.com, and you share it with others. And but first of all, read it for yourself and see what God has said. Because the end of the story is I'm right here talking to you because I woke up on the third day, and a doctor came in and he said, "What is going on here?" Then he looked at my chart, and then he sent me to see a specialist. And that was the beginning of my healing. And so I'm so grateful today to thank God that he was there to restore me to my health, because It is such a sad thing when you're sick. Like I remember looking through the car window and just hoping and praying that I would get better because I wanted just to go back to my son and take care of him, and hold him in my arms. And so it is. God granted my wish. I asked God, help me to see my children grow up. And now I, my son is 27 years old today. And what a miracle that was. What a miracle that was. you know um had a lot of people scratching their heads because for weeks and weeks I was sick, and people were just praying for me to recover, and the doctors didn't know what to do. They had just, you know they did not know what to do. They just figured that there's nothing left to do for me, nothing left to do for me, until that one doctor came in this room and he said, this does not make sense, and ordered some tests, and God gave him the answer. What was wrong with me? I wrote it all down in my book, God's Vision by K.R. Levine. I hope you pick up a copy and that you're blessed by it, and that you make God a part of your daily life, and make prayer a part of your daily life. And so it is. I'll be coming back and telling this story again and sharing a little bit more with you. But for now, I'll say bye for now and happy reading. Bye bye.